What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Eternal Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. Your favorite fantasy booking series, Reckoning, a brand new episode. We're going to do a quick little recap of the action events from last week, and we'll dive in to today's action for you. So last week, we saw Macho Man Randy Savage violently ambushes Adam Copeland with his steel chain and tries to choke him out before being hauled off by security. Triple H defeats Johnny Gargano here, hits Pedigree for the win, and after the match, Eddie Kingston is booked to face him the following week. The Young Bucks take on Umaga in a handicap match, and eventually this ends in a no contest when Umaga goes wild attacking them and the ref. Swerve Strickland comes out and helps Umaga lay out the Bucks and declares that the arena is now Swerve's house. The Acclaimed defeated Jurassic Express and are looking to be the #1 contenders as they challenge the Hardys for their tag team titles. Damian Priest confronts Big Van Vader. After Vader, he gloats after his pay-per-view win against Bam Bam Bigelow and demands gold. Cactus Jack wants Bray Wyatt after learning that Sandman, his tag team partner in this series, was severely injured at the pay-per-view. Randy Orton defeats RVD as Darby Allin causes somewhat of a distraction, allowing Orton to hit that devastating RKO for the victory. Balor and Kevin Owens, our new world champ Finn Balor, he grants Kevin Owens a future title shot as Hulk Hogan did not give him a rematch. But KO tried to hit a sneak attack stunner and Balor countered and standed tall. But for the main event of last week, Drew McIntyre took on Seth Rollins, and this match was thrown out as Mysterious Druid swarmed the ring and attacked Drew. Definitely a calling card from the House of Darkness and the Undertaker. Rollins, he escaped through the crowd, and Penta was there to blindside him as he had betrayed him in the tag team tournament. Now, on to this week's action. It's time for Reckoning. The fireworks, they're shooting off the crowd there on their feet. They got signs, some for Moxley, some for our new world champ Finn Balor. And now for our opening contest, DDP Diamond Dallas Page makes his way down to the ring. He throws up that diamond sign, bang, and then his pyro shoots off. Then out comes Jon Moxley. His theme song, Wow Thing. He comes down through the crowd. Fans, they're going nuts. They're tapping him on the back. And then eventually, Moxley gets in the ring. The bell rings here. And Moxley, he doesn't wait for a tie-up or anything like that. He charges DDP, taking him down, double leg takedown, and then just fists pounding down into Diamond Dallas Page here. But DDP, he's showing his veteran resilience, and he fights out with a series of elbows to the ribs of Mox. Then he hits the ropes and nails a spinning clothesline, sending Mox down. And then he's firing up the crowd here. He's feeling the momentum. He's feeling the energy. DDP is. And he's signaling for a diamond cutter. He's going to try to end this match early. He waits for Moxley to stumble up. But Moxley, he reads this here. He shoves DDP, and the referee takes a bump. But with the ref somewhat distracted, Moxley then follows with a big headbutt that busts DDP open on his hairline. Some blood's trickling down. For the next few minutes, Moxley, he's dominating. He's choking DDP. And then until finally DDP, he gets that second wind here. He dodges running knee into the corner. He hits a belly-to-back suplex, followed by a vintage sit-down power bomb. He goes to try to pin Mox. 1, 2. Mox kicks out. DDP sets up for another diamond cutter. He hooks Mox's head, but Moxley counters this, and he shifts his weight to push DDP into the ropes. As DDP comes rebounding back, Mox hits a big lariat, spinning around DDP. And then he wastes no time. He picks up DDP, he hooks the arms, and drives him skull first into the mat with a paradigm shift. He gets a pinfall victory here, and Jon Moxley is our victor in our opening match of the night. We then look to the Titantron on the stage, and it's dark. The lights start to go down in the arena. Deep, dark purple light starts to fill the arena then. The screen cuts to a dimly lit, dark, gothic, almost chapel setting here. The Undertaker, he stands in the center, and on either side of him is Aleister Black and Brody King, the House of Darkness. Taker, he looks directly into the camera, and with his low, gravelly voice, he addresses Drew McIntyre, and he says, "You walk around calling yourself the Scottish warrior. You think because you carry a sword, You command the forces of destiny, but you've forgotten the rules of the dark. My disciples, Alistair and Brody, see the arrogance in your eyes. The sky will turn to ash, and the ground will open beneath your feet. Drew, you're at the crossroads of your damnation. You will rest in peace. And he rolls his eyes into the back of his head. We then cut back to the ring, and inside the ring are Swerve Strickland and Umaga, this new alliance that has seemed to be forming over the past couple of weeks as Swerve was talking to Umaga's manager, Estrada, and now we have seen that this is what has played out. So Swerve, he's wearing actually a nice tailored suit here, and Umaga, he's just pacing menacingly next to him. Swerve grabs the mic real quick and he starts to say that any smart businessman has a plan B. That's why I got myself a bulldozer. So last week we made an example of the Young Bucks, and only more bodies will be broken as I ascend to the top. 'Cause it's whose house? But before the crowd can chant, the Young Bucks music blares, and Matt and Nick Jackson, they come running down the entrance ramp, sliding into the ring. A chaotic brawl erupts. Umaga, he tries to get a big double clothesline on both the Bucks, but they're able to duck and hit a double clothesline of their own, taking him out, sending him tumbling down and crashing onto the mat outside the ring. They then double team Swerve and hit him with a pair of super kicks that send him retreating up the ramp alongside Umaga. Nick, he grabs the microphone. He's breathing heavily. He's just angered here, and he says, you know what? Next week, Swerve, we're going to foreclose on your ass. And now, for our next contest, a tag team contest. The Outsiders, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, are taking on The Acclaimed, Max Caster, and Anthony Bowens. So Nash and Hall, they're dominating the early portions of this match, and they're using their size and their experience to their advantage. They're isolating Bowens here in the early goings. Hall, he sets his signature fall-away slam. He's taunting Max Caster, who's on the apron. Nash tags in and just brutal knees in the corner, and then a sidewalk slam. Eventually, a turning point comes when Nash, he goes for the jackknife powerbomb. Bowens counters with a desperate sunset flip. But Nash, he doesn't go down. Caster leaps onto the apron, distracting the referee here. Suddenly, Bowens, he hits a drop kick to Nash's knee. Nash stumbles backwards, colliding into Scott Hall on the apron. Bowens then rolls up Nash in a tight schoolboy pin. 1, 2, 3, big upset win for the Acclaimed. After the match, Caster, he grabs a mic and he calls out the Hardy Boys again, a second week in a row. He's demanding that they stop hiding, and he says that we are the best tag team here on Reckoning, and we're going to rule the division and show you why we are really the best in the world. We then cut backstage and see the Hardys. They're looking at a monitor of live feed of what's going on in the ring, and Matt Hardy, he turns around and looks at the camera. He says, you know what, you boys want to try your luck next week? Well then, Max, if you got the spine, how about you go one-on-one with me, and let's see if you can back up that mouth without your partner. We then have another singles match. Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, taking on The Game, Triple H. The bell sounds and the action is underway. So this is almost like an alley fight almost. Kingston, he meets Triple H in the center of the ring. They're exchanging chops and fists back and forth. And Triple H, he catches Kingston with a big high knee. He's trying to shift the momentum of this match here. The Game, he takes Kingston on the outside, slamming his head into the steel steps, slamming him into the barricade. And Kingston, he's fueled by the adrenaline here. He's fighting back. As Triple H and Eddie Kingston are brawling on the outside, Kingston, he tries to grab a steel chair, but the ref snatches it away. And then taking advantage of this distraction, Triple H is a big spine buster to the outside of the floor. That padding isn't too thick. And the referee, he starts a 10 count here. Triple H, he tries to roll back in. They're getting like 6, 7. Kingston, he grabs Triple H by the ankles, drags him back to the floor, and he punches back and forth, just pretty much brawling here. Kingston, he's almost like a man possessed. He tries to lock Triple H into a sleeper hold on the outside. The referee counts 10. The referee, he's trying to break it up. He's trying to break up what's going on. So eventually some security has to come out and pull Kingston off of Triple H. Next segment, we're backstage, and Cactus Jack, he's looking in the backstage corridor for Bray Wyatt. He's kicking open doors. He's got a tire iron in his hand. He's just a man on a mission hunting down Bray Wyatt until he says Bray Wyatt's locker room in crayon. So he kicks open the door, and there's just a single light swinging back and forth from the ceiling. It's pitch black. Then suddenly, the entire room goes white, almost blindingly white. And then when Cactus, he blinks, and then when he kind of gets his senses about him, he's standing in front of the Firefly Funhouse, but there's like a two-way mirror between him and the Funhouse with Bray Wyatt and the puppets on the other side. Mercy the Buzzard is there, Abby the Witch, Ramblin' Rabbit, and in the center stands Bray, wearing that pristine red sweater, and he's just smiling ear to ear. Bray says, "Oh, hello, Cactus. I've been waiting on you." And Cactus, he's just slamming his fist against the two-way mirror that separates them. "You're gonna pay for what you've done to Sandman. You're gonna pay for what you've done to me. Wyatt, break this glass. Face me like a man." And Bray, he's sighing here. "You see, Cactus, I only tried to offer a helping hand to the Sandman. I wanted to be a friend, but he slapped that hand away. So as any good friend would do, I had to teach him a hard life lesson." He smiles even wider than before, looking a little bit more twisted and deranged than before as well. He leans in a little closer to the glass, looking at Cactus, and he says, "Yowie wowie, I'll see you later." And he snaps his fingers, and the light cuts to black. Cactus is in a room of pure darkness. Slow, distorted echoes of laughter fill the room. And then the light bulb flickers back on. The funhouse is gone, and Cactus is standing in a janitor's closet. He's breathing heavily, some sweat trickling down his brow. And he just looks around like, what happened? On to our next segment. Adam Copeland, he's sitting down backstage for an interview in a locker room in the arena, and the female interviewer is asking him about his thoughts on Macho Man Randy Savage and now his current actions, as he seems very unhinged with what's going on lately. Copeland, he's very professional here, and he says that Randy, he's a trailblazer for sure, and he's a man that I have nothing but respect for. As you can see, that we tried to take down the NWO months prior, but that just didn't work for us. But I'm glad that Finn Balor and the Outsiders were able to deal with that giant pain in the ass. And he looks at the camera directly for a minute, and he says, "Macho, I've already had neck surgery in the past. I've had to give up my pride and my passion that is pro wrestling, and I'm not going to give it up again." And at that moment, the door goes flying open, and it's Macho Man Randy Savage. He kicked the door wide open. His eyes are wild. He's screaming. He's pointing his finger at Copeland. But before he can even get his hands on him, security's there. In a moment's notice, they grab him. They're pulling him away. General Manager Adam Pearce is not far behind. And he tells Savage that, "You know what, you're banned from the arena for tonight. Go home." And they make sure that Macho Man gets in his vehicle and leaves the grounds. Next up, we have another singles match, as Tommaso Ciampa takes on the Bastard Pac. This is a technical and brutal masterpiece of a match. Pac, he targets the neck of Ciampa, as he has had neck problems in the past. He hits a German suplex that leaves Ciampa writhing. Pac goes to the top rope for a black arrow, but Ciampa rolls out of the way. Ciampa then capitalizes with some running knees to the corner, and then eventually he gets a pinfall. 1, 2, Pac barely gets a shoulder up in time. And then Pac, he's fighting back. He's looking for the brutalizer in the center of the ring. Ciampa looks like he's about to pass out from the submission, but he manages to slide forward and drip his boot over the bottom rope. Pac eventually, he breaks the hold at the count of 4. He's frustrated, Pac is. He drags Ciampa back to the middle of the ring for a brainbuster, but Ciampa counters, pulling Pac down with a side tight inside cradle. 1, 2, 3. Ciampa rolls out of the ring. Pac is furious at this. Next, we have a vignette, and here we see Penta, the man with zero fear. He's standing in a dimly lit warehouse, and his face is illuminated by a single spotlight. And he says, he's addressing Seth Rollins here, "I used to respect you. You carried yourself as a proper champion. You had the honor of a true warrior. But then when we were in that tag team tournament, and I needed someone I could count on, someone I could think of like a brother, you choose to stomp my head in the canvas. That was not wrestling. That was an act of war. Penta does not forgive, and Penta will not deal with your disrespect. Zero miedo means your time is running out." Next, we see Kevin Owens in the ring, and he's pacing back and forth. He snatches a mic as quickly as he can because he needs to get some words off of his chest. He is addressing our world champion, Finn Balor. He says, "Finn, I've been watching you for months. You walk around like you're the baddest man on the planet. But let's face the facts. Every single time you win a match, you need 2 or more men helping you. Heck, you didn't even want to get out of a tag team with me. You were almost begging me to stay with you. And it seems to me that you can't do a single thing by yourself anymore. You needed the outsiders to help you win that world title. At the last pay-per-view, you've lost your edge, Finn. So why don't you leave the boys in the back next week and step in the ring with me and prove to the world that you're still a... He just chucks that mic on in the middle of the ring. He storms out. And now, it's time for our main event of the evening. The whole effing show. Rob Van Dam is taking on Darby Allin. The bell rings here, and the crowd seems split almost down the middle. Some are chanting for Darby, some are chanting RV. But as soon as that bell rings, Darby blindsides RVD. Spectacular drop kick. RVD goes flying across the ring, almost smashing into the turnbuckles. Darby is like a man possessed here. He is tired of the crap RVD has been pulling. He's tired of the games and the belittlement. So RVD, he's overwhelmed here by the speed of Darby. He rolls to the outside. He's trying to catch his breath. His bearings about him, but Darby's not going to give him a second. Oh, hell no. He hits the ropes, building up speed, and launches himself through the ropes with a big suicida cannonball dive, smacking into RVD, causing RVD to smash into the announcer's table. Some monitors are knocked over as well. Darby is first to his feet, and the crowd, they're chanting, Darby, Darby, Darby. He rolls RVD back into the ring, but as he goes and tries to climb through the ropes, he rakes at the eyes of Darby Allin and then gets him in a tight punishing headlock, grinding him into the canvas. Just no mercy here. He's trying to make a fool of Darby Allin. But Darby, he's fighting through the pain, crawling towards the ropes. But as he crawls, RVD is just cranking back on his neck until finally he grabs the bottom rope and the referee forces a break. As soon as Darby is free, RVD unleashes some spinning back kicks, keeping the resilient Daredevil grounded. He climbs to the top rope. He actually just hits a corkscrew leg drop right onto the spine of Darby Allin. He's sensing a victory here, so he climbs to that top turnbuckle. And in a sign of disrespect, RVD mocks Darby by trying to hit a coffin drop of his own. RVD leaps backwards. Darby gets his knees up, driving him into the spine of Van Dam. And Van Dam, he's rolling away in the ring. He's clutching his back. He's writhing in pain. Darby jumps to his feet. He's fueled by adrenaline here. He stomps heavily into the chest of RVD, keeping him down. He scales to the top rope. He turns to the crowd, and he mimics RVD's thumb point. RVD. But he's yelling, Darby effing Allin. And he jumps off the top rope, hitting a flawless 5-star frog splash. He hooks a leg. 1, 2, 3. The referee raises up Darby's hand, but then a replay happens on the Tron, and we immediately see what's going to be a major controversy here on the Wrecking brand. Even though the referee did get that 3 count, RVD's foot was on the bottom rope before the 3. The referee missed it, and RVD, he's clutching his back, but he's screaming at the referee, grabbing onto the shirt of the ref as the show goes off the air. So that is going to be it for our episode of Reckoning. I hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget, the 4th of July, we got a free pay-per-view event, Inferno. So definitely tune into that. It will be up early Saturday morning. So as always, I am your host, Jacob, of the Eternal Wrestling Podcast, and I hope you guys have a good one.